In the quiet moments before financial collapse, many good people fail to see the warning signs until everything falls apart. Collection letters pile up, bank accounts get frozen, and court officials show up at the door. This is the harsh reality of bankruptcy, a complex maze of bureaucracy and emotion where dreams are tested. In this series, we'll uncover the untold truth behind these closed doors so you can recognize, understand, and overcome before it's too late. When Karen Mitchell first noticed the missed payments stacking up, she brushed them off as a temporary setback. A single late credit card payment seemed harmless, but slowly, the storm gathered. From her small apartment in Cleveland, Ohio, Karen juggled a part-time job and growing medical bills. She was an ordinary woman, dedicated mother, and hard worker, yet the weight of financial pressure crept in like a shadow she couldn't shake. It started with a few calls from creditors, then letters marked "Final Notice" slid under her door. One day, she received a call from her bank. Her account had been frozen due to unpaid overdraft fees. Panic set in. How had she let it get this far? Karen's experience is not unique. According to a 2024 report by the Federal Reserve, nearly 40% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, with 25% unable to cover a $400 emergency expense without borrowing or selling something. The line between manageable debt and financial collapse can be thinner than most realize. Experts highlight several key red flags that signal a person may be teetering on the edge of bankruptcy. Ignoring these warnings is a risk few can afford. The first alarm is consistently missing minimum payments on credit cards, loans, or utilities. Credit bureaus consider even one late payment a serious mark against credit scores, which in turn raises interest rates, making it harder to catch up. Then come calls from collection agencies, persistent and sometimes aggressive, demanding payment. Some face the stress of wage garnishments or court summons, legal steps that indicate creditors are escalating their efforts. Karen's missed payments snowballed into such legal threats within months. Another critical sign is frozen or blocked bank accounts, often triggered by unpaid debts or overdraft fees. Losing access to liquid funds cripples the ability to pay bills or even buy essentials. Data from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau reveals that bank account freezes have increased by 15% in the last 2 years, disproportionately affecting middle-income households caught in short-term crises. Karen's frozen account forced her to rely on borrowed money from friends, a temporary fix that only delayed the inevitable. Perhaps less obvious, but equally dangerous, is the emotional toll these financial struggles take. Depression, anxiety, and social withdrawal often accompany mounting debt, creating a feedback loop that impairs judgment and decision-making. Karen found herself avoiding phone calls and ignoring bills, overwhelmed by shame and fear. Psychologists warn that financial distress ranks among the top triggers for mental health crises in the U.S., yet stigma often prevents sufferers from seeking help early. Recognizing these red flags early can mean the difference between falling deeper into debt and taking back control. Financial advisors recommend a series of practical steps when these warning signs appear. First, create a detailed budget tracking all income and expenses, including debts. Transparency helps highlight problem areas. Next, contact creditors proactively to negotiate payment plans or reduced interest rates. Many companies prefer a modified agreement over costly legal battles. Finally, seek professional guidance from nonprofit credit counseling agencies that offer free or low-cost advice tailored to individual situations. Karen's turning point came when she attended a local financial literacy workshop. There, she learned to rebuild her budget realistically and negotiate her debts systematically. She began prioritizing essentials, cutting discretionary spending, and communicating openly with her lenders. It was not an overnight fix, but with steady effort, she gradually restored access to her bank accounts and improved her credit score. Her story illustrates how the red alert signs, though daunting, are not a dead end but a call to action. In summary, the brink of bankruptcy is marked by missed payments, aggressive creditor actions, frozen accounts, and emotional strain. Data shows these signs are widespread but often misunderstood or ignored. By recognizing and addressing these early warning signals, individuals can adopt strategies that prevent deeper financial damage. Karen's journey demonstrates that knowledge and proactive steps can turn a crisis into a manageable challenge, setting the stage for recovery and stability. Jason Carter stared at the pile of overdue bills scattered across his kitchen table. A former construction worker in Detroit, he had lost his job 6 months earlier due to a plant closure. With 2 kids to support and mounting medical expenses from an accident, Jason found himself sinking deeper into debt. The eviction notice on the fridge felt like the final blow. Yet amid despair, Jason made a choice, to fight back and reclaim control of his finances. His path to recovery began with acceptance. Many people resist confronting their financial reality, hoping problems will resolve themselves. But data from the National Endowment for Financial Education shows that proactive engagement significantly improves outcomes. Jason sought help from a local nonprofit credit counseling service, where he worked with advisors to understand his debt obligations and income flow. This initial step provided clarity and a roadmap for action. One powerful strategy Jason employed was debt consolidation. By combining multiple high-interest debts into a single loan with a lower rate, he reduced monthly payments and simplified management. According to a 2023 Consumer Financial Protection Bureau report, debt consolidation programs reduced monthly payments by an average of 30% for participants, easing financial stress and enabling more consistent payments. Jason's new loan lowered his interest rates from nearly 20% to under 8%, freeing up funds for essential expenses. Another vital technique was negotiating with creditors directly. Many lenders are willing to accept reduced payments or settle debts for less than owed if approached honestly. Jason contacted his credit card companies and medical providers, explaining his situation and requesting hardship programs. These negotiations resulted in temporarily paused interest and waived late fees, providing breathing room. Research from the Urban Institute highlights that such negotiations, when done early, can prevent account defaults and reduce overall debt burdens. Budget restructuring also played a crucial role. Jason and his counselor created a realistic budget that prioritized necessities, housing, food, utilities, while trimming discretionary expenses. They set achievable monthly savings goals, even if modest, to build an emergency fund. Studies show that having as little as $500 in liquid savings reduces the risk of future financial shocks turning into crises. For Jason, even small wins helped rebuild confidence. Finally, Jason pursued new income opportunities. While job searching, he took on freelance handyman work and sold and used household items online. Supplemental income, combined with reduced expenses, accelerated his debt repayment. A 2022 survey by the Pew Research Center found that nearly 45% of Americans supplement their income through gig work, a vital lifeline for many facing financial hardship. Jason's recovery was gradual but steady. Within 18 months, he cleared nearly 60% of his unsecured debt and stabilized his household budget. His credit score improved, and the eviction threat faded. More than numbers, his journey exemplified resilience, practical planning, and willingness to seek help. Key factors in overcoming financial crises. This story underscores that while falling into debt can feel isolating and overwhelming, proven strategies exist. Debt consolidation, creditor negotiation, budgeting, and income diversification form a toolkit that can restore stability. Importantly, timely action and honest communication with creditors can prevent minor setbacks from spiraling into bankruptcy. Jason's experience offers hope and a clear framework for those ready to climb out of their financial hole. Emily Sanders sat at her kitchen table in Austin, Texas, staring at the confusing pile of bills, credit card statements, and loan offers. Despite her best efforts, she found herself repeatedly caught in cycles of debt. Emily was a bright, hard-working graphic designer, but without formal financial education, she was vulnerable to the pitfalls many Americans face. Her story highlights a critical truth: knowledge is one of the most powerful tools in avoiding financial collapse. A 2023 study by the National Financial Educators Council revealed that 60% of bankruptcies in the U.S. could be traced back to poor financial literacy. Emily's lack of understanding about interest rates, credit utilization, and budgeting left her susceptible to high-interest loans and impulsive spending. Like millions of others, she learned too late how small mistakes compound into overwhelming debt. Financial education, however, offers a path to break this cycle. Emily began her journey by enrolling in a free online financial literacy course offered by a nonprofit organization. There, she learned foundational concepts such as how credit scores are calculated, the impact of compounding interest, and the importance of emergency savings. Studies show that individuals who participate in structured financial education programs improve their savings rates by up to 25% within a year. Armed with this knowledge, Emily started tracking her expenses diligently, setting realistic financial goals, and avoiding unnecessary credit inquiries. One transformative lesson was understanding credit utilization, the ratio of credit used compared to total available credit. Emily had been unknowingly maxing out her credit cards, which drastically lowered her credit score. After learning this, she adjusted her habits to keep utilization below 30%, which led to noticeable improvements in her credit rating within months. Experts emphasize that good credit management can lower borrowing costs significantly, reducing long-term debt burdens. Another key takeaway was the importance of budgeting and prioritizing needs over wants. Emily used budgeting apps that automated expense tracking and alert notifications, helping her avoid late payments. According to a 2024 survey by the Financial Consumer Agency of Canada, 68% of individuals who used budgeting tools reported feeling more in control of their finances and less stressed. For Emily, this translated into tangible savings and the confidence to say no to impulse purchases. Emily's story demonstrates that financial education isn't just about numbers, it's about empowerment and prevention. With the right tools and understanding, individuals can avoid the common traps that lead to bankruptcy. It shifts the narrative from reactive crisis management to proactive financial health. By investing time in learning, Emily rewrote her financial future and set an example for her family. Michael Rodriguez, a single father from Phoenix, Arizona, faced a harsh financial reality after his hours at work were cut unexpectedly. Despite careful budgeting, the reduced income left him struggling to meet his monthly expenses. Rather than resigning to the pressure, Michael decided to explore additional income streams and smarter ways to make his money work for him, a crucial step toward financial recovery that many overlook. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, nearly 44% of Americans supplement their income through side gigs or freelance work. Michael started by offering tutoring services in math and science, leveraging his college background. This supplemental income, though modest at first, gave him the breathing room to pay down debts and rebuild savings. Experts stress that diversifying income sources can reduce financial vulnerability, especially during economic downturns. In parallel, Michael began educating himself about low-risk investment opportunities. He opened a Roth IRA account and contributed small amounts monthly, taking advantage of compound interest over time. Data from the Investment Company Institute shows that long-term investment in retirement accounts has helped millions build substantial wealth despite short-term market fluctuations. For Michael, this was a way not only to protect his future but also to instill disciplined saving habits. Another effective strategy Michael employed was leveraging employer benefits, such as matching contributions and discounted stock purchase plans. Many workers miss these benefits, which effectively increase their earnings. A 2023 Fidelity report found that employees who fully utilize workplace benefits accumulate 25% more retirement savings on average. Michael's increased financial literacy helped him maximize these options. Michael also explored passive income streams, such as renting out a spare room via short-term rental platforms. This additional cash flow helped pay for unexpected medical bills and school supplies for his children. While passive income requires some initial effort and investment, it can provide financial stability and security over time. Financial advisors often recommend starting small and scaling gradually to minimize risks. Michael's combined approach of generating extra income, investing wisely, and utilizing available benefits illustrates a powerful blueprint for financial resilience. It highlights that recovery isn't just about cutting expenses but also about creating opportunities for growth and sustainability. His story is a testament to adaptability, learning, and strategic action in the face of financial hardship. Lisa Thompson's mornings in Portland, Oregon, began with quiet reflection over a cup of coffee at her kitchen window. The view of the towering pines and misty streets felt peaceful, a stark contrast to the stormy financial struggles she had endured just a few years prior. As a dedicated schoolteacher and a mother of two, Lisa had once found herself trapped in a cycle of debt, uncertainty, and sleepless nights. But now, she had reclaimed control over her finances. Yet Lisa understood deeply that reaching stability was only the beginning. The real challenge lay in maintaining it and building a future resilient enough to weather any unforeseen storm. Her journey toward sustainable financial security was rooted in lessons learned through painful experience and reinforced by hard data. According to the Federal Reserve's latest survey, nearly 40% of Americans don't have enough savings to cover an emergency expense of $400 or more. This startling statistic highlighted the fragility of financial security for millions, a reality Lisa was all too familiar with. She committed herself to creating an emergency fund that would cover at least 6 months of her living expenses. This fund wasn't merely a number in a bank account, it was peace of mind, a financial fortress against sudden unemployment, unexpected medical bills, or urgent home repairs. Lisa's emergency fund didn't grow overnight. She started small, setting aside modest amounts from each paycheck, sometimes sacrificing little luxuries like dining out or new clothes. She used budgeting tools to track her progress meticulously, celebrating every milestone, even those as small as $100 saved. This steady accumulation gave her confidence and a safety net that transformed her anxiety into assurance. Financial advisors widely recommend such an approach, noting that even a small emergency fund drastically reduces the likelihood of turning to high-interest credit options during crises, which often spiral into deeper debt. But financial security, Lisa learned, was about more than just saving. It demanded strategic investment and diversification. She maintained her primary income as a schoolteacher but understood the value of multiple revenue streams. To that end, Lisa cultivated side projects, including freelance writing for local magazines and tutoring high school students in math and literature. These ventures provided supplemental income and, just as importantly, a sense of empowerment, proof that she could shape her financial destiny through initiative and creativity. On the investment front, Lisa's approach was cautious yet purposeful. She balanced her portfolio between low-risk government and corporate bonds, mutual funds, and index funds, spreading her investments to minimize exposure to market volatility. A 2023 Vanguard study showed that investors who diversified across asset classes experienced 35% more stable returns over a decade compared to those who concentrated their holdings narrowly. Lisa took comfort in this data, knowing that her measured approach was designed to protect her savings from the market's inevitable ups and downs, while still growing steadily over time. An essential part of Lisa's strategy was the commitment to regularly review and adjust her financial plans. Life was dynamic, children grew older, health needs evolved, and economic conditions shifted. She scheduled monthly finance check-ins to assess her budget, savings goals, and investment performance. These reviews helped her detect warning signs early and recalibrate priorities. The National Endowment for Financial Education reports that individuals who conduct regular financial reviews are significantly less likely to face unexpected financial crises, as proactive planning allows for course corrections before problems escalate. Beyond numbers and budgets, Lisa recognized that ongoing financial education was her most vital tool. She invested time in reading books by trusted experts, attending workshops, and following reputable financial bloggers and podcasts. This commitment kept her informed about new financial products, changes in tax laws, and emerging investment opportunities. Moreover, it helped her build confidence to make informed decisions and avoid scams, which prey disproportionately on financially vulnerable individuals. In a fast-evolving financial landscape, Lisa knew that staying educated was not a luxury but a necessity. Emotionally, Lisa's transformation was profound. No longer did she feel overwhelmed by the weight of bills or the fear of losing her home. Instead, she experienced a growing sense of control and optimism about the future. This psychological resilience was as important as any dollar saved. Studies show that financial stress is closely linked to mental health challenges, including anxiety and depression. By taking control of her finances, Lisa also reclaimed her well-being and improved her quality of life. Lisa's story is a powerful reminder that surviving a financial crisis is just the first step in a lifelong journey. Building and maintaining sustainable financial security requires discipline, adaptability, continual learning, and a willingness to evolve strategies as circumstances change. It demands balancing saving with investing, income stability with growth, and vigilance with flexibility. With these habits, anyone can protect their hard-earned progress, weather future storms, and confidently envision a stable and prosperous tomorrow. James Carter sat on the porch of his modest home in Columbus, Ohio, reflecting on the long journey that had brought him from the brink of bankruptcy to a place of renewed hope. Years ago, overwhelmed by mounting debts and financial missteps, he had believed his future was bleak. But through persistence, education, and strategic action, James had transformed his life. His story is a testament to the power of resilience and the importance of taking control before it's too late. James's initial crisis had been sudden, a medical emergency that drained his savings and forced him to rely heavily on credit cards. This was a familiar story. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau reports that medical expenses contribute to over 60% of personal bankruptcies in the United States. Like many, James hadn't fully understood the risks or planned for such an event. But his turning point came when he sought help instead of surrendering to despair. He connected with a nonprofit credit counseling agency, which helped him develop a realistic budget and negotiate with creditors. This step, often overlooked, is critical. According to the National Foundation for Credit Counseling, clients who use professional credit counseling reduce their debt by an average of 30% within 2 years. For James, this was the lifeline he needed to start rebuilding. Over time, James learned to avoid the traps of quick fixes and payday loans that had once deepened his troubles. Instead, he embraced slow, steady progress, focusing on emergency savings, disciplined budgeting, and building credit through responsible use of secured credit cards. He also diversified his income by starting a small side business repairing electronics, which provided both additional cash flow and a renewed sense of purpose. Now, James emphasizes the importance of mindset in financial recovery. It's not simply about dollars and cents, but about cultivating patience, perseverance, and a willingness to learn. His experience underscores that no matter how dire the situation, there are practical steps anyone can take to regain control. The combination of professional advice, continuous education, and actionable strategies forms a foundation for lasting financial health. As this series concludes, remember that bankruptcy or financial crisis is not the end but a difficult chapter, one that can be overcome with the right knowledge and actions. By recognizing warning signs early, seeking help, educating oneself, diversifying income, and planning for the future, anyone can reclaim stability and build a more secure, hopeful financial life. James's journey reflects this truth and offers inspiration to all facing similar challenges.